Yo, what's happening, Cap? Hey, look.
What's happening, Cap'n? I did it right this time. We're off to a flying good start. Doing barrel rolls. We're doing good. Hope everybody's having a good one out there. I'm going to talk for an hour and a half-ish. We'll see. We'll see how I do. I don't know if you guys noticed anything. Did you notice anything different about me? Did you notice anything different about me? I don't know. Maybe the fact that I'm becoming a woman. No, not yet. They're not paying for that yet. I've petitioned the state of Utah. It's in the works. And we're getting a 2-for-1. Me and my roommate. We've decided to go halvesies. 2-for-1. It's a special. And this is going to be a special episode of What's Happening, Cap'n. The world's only podcast all about Captain Hardluck. Hey, that's me, also known as Jacob Michael Campbell. Just putting that out there. Do whatever you want with that. and people will. And people will hunt you to the ends of the earth. They'll dox you to the ends of the earth. No, I don't care. Whatever. It'll make for a really good episode. It'll make for the most episode of all time. And I just wanted to start by saying thank you to everybody that's in chat. We record live, twitch.tv/Captain Hardluck. Hey, that's me. I just want to let you all know that I didn't shout out my own Twitch channel on the last episode, and that's bad. I'm told that's bad. But yeah, I did get my ears lowered, as they used to say. I remember being terrified of this turn of phrase, this colloquial nightmare fuel, if you will, this fucking disgusting metaphor of now your ears are lower on your face. I used to think, my grandfather, rest in piss, I thought that he actually had his ears lowered because he looked kind of bald and weird to me. My mother says he was not bald. He looked pretty bald to me. It was pretty thin. He looked like he kind of looked like Eustace. Is it Eustace from Courage the Cowardly Dog? I don't know. Let me know in chat if I have the right pop culture references. If my references are tight. I think we're always going to be talking about Jonah Hill here. Keep an eye out for a Wolf of Wall Street reference in the near future. I'll have to watch the movie, though, other than just seeing some clips on TikTok. Though I will say, I claim to have watched all of Suits, even though I only ever watched in the form of YouTube Utah Shorts. Dude, Utah should have its own app and then make Utah Shorts. And then it's actually just a way to get people to buy shorts, like tiny pants. I think that's what shorts are. Shorts are basically tiny pants. Nobody's comfortable admitting that. Nobody wants to come out and say, oh, shorts are just tiny pants, because you might get ridiculed. But guess what? That's what I do. I come with the truth. I come direct. I come erect. I hope. If I'm lucky. This is my podcast. And I'll probably be taking some sips of water as we go along. My mouth might be shiny. Maybe it's shinier than it should be. Maybe you can see all the way in the mouth hole sometimes. Maybe you can tell that my tonsils are like chronically inflamed. And that's from a sinus issue. Okay? And I'm not going to scare everybody away because sinus probably already scared some people away. I'm not going to scare people away with medical conditions right off the bat. We're going to get to medical conditions later in the episode. We have to stage these things out appropriately, or it's just not going to be, kicking. It's not going to be fresh. And hey, we're going to be leaving the websites up and the sponsors up the whole time. And that's it, because we're not going to have any more we're not going to have any more technical issues. cut it out, call the director. I called up the director, I fired him. Turned out it was me, but I was able to terminate a version of myself in consciousness and shift to a new higher consciousness where this show is just always perfect all the time, and why even worry about it? You know, it's going to be exactly what it needs to be. Booyah! So I go to Great Clips, and I've got a coupon. You bet your ass I'm not paying $21 for a haircut. That's never going to happen, all right? It's just, I'm not going to do it. But I will pay $13 plus $5 tip. And I tip because, you know what? I was walking out of the store. I got a compliment. I got like gangbang. And then it was like, oh, looks great. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I said, I got to go because I'm bashful now. And then I killed. That's what we call it in the biz. Because you know I do that standing up. I really need to sit down. I need to stay seated right now. I'm not going to stand up. But I would be curious what you guys would think if I did a stand-up stream sometime. And it actually might be cool to get some of you in Discord and just like record you guys laughing in real time if it happens. Or if you want to heckle me, like that could happen too. I don't know. You guys, instead of being in the chat, just be in the Discord. Well, be in both. Listen, multitask. This is what you got to do. So that's what you got to do. Also, I have a Discord. Maybe I'll plug that as well. Maybe I'll put that in the thing because I don't promote it enough. That's probably the truth. If you are interested in what I do, and I do a lot of things, you can get in a Discord too. Listen, we're getting some advertising in on this episode, all right? I put in that work, put in the hours. Hang out with The Rock, then take a shower. I think that's the rap. I think that's what Dwayne The Rock Johnson says. Hang with The Rock, we'll take a shower. I think that's the second line. Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's like some subliminal frames in the music video of Kevin Hart there as well. You pay for me. Okay, well, this is being brought up by the chat that they pay for me. They pay not to get advertised to by Twitch, who is Jeff Bezos is the bald overlord, fucking low T Lex Luthor, and he's gonna take your Twitch biddies and he's gonna say, put him in my blue penis rocket. Woo! And I think we should have blue penis rockets. I'm not against it. I didn't vote against the blue penis rocket, and I don't even know if it was ever up to a vote. I think it's just one man and his vision, and, you know, you're either getting on board or, you know, get on the blue dick or get off the blue dick. One or the other. So these are the decisions we make as we move into the space age, all right? I may fumble my words occasionally, but I'm getting to a point, all right? So don't judge me. Oh, yeah, I feel you putting on that judge, jury, executioner. Pop, pop, that gavel. Pop, pop. Guilty, guilty, guilty. But I'm sorry you had to clock in. Hyperblocked. You're hyperclocked. So suck my hypercock. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Listen. If we can't fool around here, listen, I like to keep a chill workplace environment. I don't like all that HR business. We need to keep it loosey-goosey around here. Hey, catch me from the free throw line. Hey, haha, good game. Pat him on the... But let's not get into the meta here. Let's talk about my haircut. So I walk into Great Clips. I've got the coupon ready to go. I'm paying the lady. And there's 3 of them right off the bat. And I'm thinking to myself, we're going to get the younger one. Because that's the best hope we have. We're rolling the dice. We're rolling a 3-sided die in a Great Clips for who is going to have control over my looks. All right? 42 subs. That's crazy, Nemo. 42 subs. Good God. Thank you so much. So we're rolling a 3-sided die and we hit, baby. And because we know it's always the case, we're going to walk out of there. Now there's pros and there's cons. The con is my bangs are long. I like that, but sometimes they're getting in my eyes. And by doing this, I'm risking the whole show. Because there's no guarantee that how I adjust my hair from here will return to an aesthetically pleasing state. And I don't know, and it's hard for me to tell. So I'm going to look, and maybe it's bad, maybe it's good. And it's got to be fluffed, and it can't be too greasy, and it's a whole thing. But I think it's fine. I think it's a little wild. It's a little crazy. It's never looked like this before. And it's interesting because you go to a hair salon and sometimes it feels they're doing the same thing every time. Oh yeah, here. Oh, I know this line, and then it just looks totally different. I think it's because that technique works if you go to like a shorter length, but I like it to still be a little long on top because I enjoy a shagged look. I'm a little shag man. It's probably the least talkative I've ever been in the hair salon. I think it's because there were like third parties there that I'm like, I don't need to expose my life details. This is not the therapy session I want right now, I just need to make sure this woman knows that I don't understand why they do this at the hair cutting chains where like they wet your hair down completely. They drench it. For me, they put like a fucking detangling conditioner in it because my hair got fried, which is sad. I think it happened in like the last couple months. And so it had to get cut, and they show it to you, and it's like completely soaked. It's full of product. It's never going to look like that ever again. Like, what you need to do is give me a proper rinse and then dry it. But they don't want to do that. They're like pissed they have to do that, I think. It's really weird. I don't understand salon culture. Maybe somebody in the haircutting world can explain this to me. Hey, I'm filming this podcast so that I can reach out, and touch someone and understand what are they thinking? What am I thinking? How do we get on the same page here? Let's see if we can find some common ground. Me and the salon people and the watch community. And the furries, I haven't said it yet, but I do have problems. So we'll get to that. But basically, this podcast is, I think it's me going out to do the apostles' work. I think it's what the poor were called to do. And this is a biblical concept. And of course, you know that I'm here to do some sermons for y'all, and I think everybody's really appreciating the Abrahamic Accords that we're having here. That's what I'm calling it. It's a totally original name, and we're having them here, the Abraham Accords. But yeah, we actually talked about the same exact thing on the last podcast, so I'm not going to do that. It was a joke. I was just joking. I was just having a little fun with you. Don't we have fun? Let me know in the comments if you have fun. Like, comment, fun, subscribe. So I'm eating a whole barrel full of cheese. No, I've never done that, but I did eat a ham sandwich that was reduced price today. And, we takes our chances, and I think that meat was of fine quality. I think I got that. That's as fresh as a reduced sandwich gets. And it was really tasty. I got a cheap Dairy Queen cone today. And, I really greased up my hair before this. And I don't mean with product. I created a lot of head grease. And I said to myself, I don't want this shit frying out again. And let's talk about how disgusting your hair is. And how if it was not aesthetically abhorrent for me to be bald, the cleanliest option would be to just shave. We just shave everything down. It's like Frank and It's Always Sunny. I think it makes sense. I'm on board with that. The problem is I just can't execute it. I think the bare head, that's never going to show. We're going to have this full head of hair and we're doing it. And I was asking the lady, I was like, I'm a little worried. It might be thinning. But I think what was happening, it was just tangling so bad because it was fried. And when it tangles, it like bunches up and it leaves all these like gaps. You know, like everybody has a gap where they part their hair, but when it like tangles up, it makes like weird gaps. And, you know, it might be a little thinner in the crown, I think most people, but she was like, it looks healthy. It looks healthy. Got the healthy. You know, it's like when you get your blood pressure taken. Now I'm going to the salon chick and I'm like, hey, does it look like I'm going full Breaking Bad upstairs? And she goes, no, God, I wish my hair was this thick. I hate you. And I say, honey, let's go to the Hong Kong buffet after. What time you get off work? My husband say, yeah, where does he like to sit in the hotel? No, I would never. But it was fun and it got done. And, you know, then I go to the store and kill. And I did have buffet right before that. I would have gone to the buffet twice. I've paid for Chinese buffet twice in one day before. And that was in high school because I wanted to hang out with this chick who maybe at one point in time thought that I was kind of cute, but then I blew it. So don't pay for the buffet twice, even if the cute girl will sit next to you. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. The universe is never going to say, yes, paying for the Chinese buffet today twice is the right decision. No, that's never going to happen. You know? And I'm glad on this show that we can talk about things that will never happen. Let's figure out what's not going to happen so that we know what's going to happen. It's called a process of elimination. Like Squid Games. Everybody knows what fucking Squid Games is, right? Ooh, they're making it 2. Let's talk about Squid Games even though we've never seen it so that we can trigger the algorithm. Let's Squid Game it up, y'all. Hey, everybody in chat, let me know your favorite Squid Game. If you can just name your favorite Squid Game in chat or the comments, let me know. And best Squid Game gets a McDonald's toy sent to their house if they live in the United States. I will send you a McDonald's toy if you... I will do this. This is the hypest contest. And Nemo, you're Australian, so you're out. You can't do it. But Happy New Year's Eve from the future in Australia. I guess we've dated the content. What if I got this done and just uploaded it tomorrow? Because I am no longer in the conscious state of emotional lack, where I'm like, oh, I can't do it. I'm sad. Had enough sad jams. Last Christmas, I had to fart. It's funny. I miss George Michael so much. And his farts. I remember he used to release full albums full of his own farts. Oh, Georgie Porgy. Oh, God. I remember the rave. We would just go to the rave and they would just play fart albums. It was a thing. Everybody liked fart albums. It wasn't a fetish back then. Everybody just thought it was funny and fun. And you went to the rave and it was... You know, you put it into a sampler and, you know, these fart albums, we would just release them one after the other, back to back, you know, and this is just something that people did. Listen, I'm here to give you history lessons. I'm here to tell you what did happen as well. And that's what did happen. That never happened. There were never any fart albums. I'm sorry that I lied to you a little bit. But can we just admit it was only a little bit? Huh? Come on, you can't hate me with this haircut. Come on, you can't hate me with this haircut. This haircut. You know, I titled this episode Haircut facetiously because I was like, I'm only going to talk about it like, no, it's the whole I'm obsessed. It's probably a shit show to a large degree, but it's kind of fun. But I look good, feel good, put on a little aftershave, smell good. Ladies love, Campbell Jacob, cool, LLCJ, cool J. I can't make that joke. Anyways, I'm sorry. My nose is so stuffed up. And I took an allergy pill, and I think it helped with my skin, but the inside of my face right now is like solid. It feels like there's a solid mass inside of my face. It's not moving. It's not going anywhere. It could probably only be dislodged with forcing water through my sinuses. Distilled water. Don't get an amoeba. Don't get a brain amoeba like Florida Man. That's always a good move. I don't know if anybody here has ever sinus rinsed, but if you have, I don't know if you've ever given yourself a brain freeze because your distilled water gets too cold. But it's just not a good time. It's not fun. Nobody likes that. And why is it the only option that we have? Why can't you just go inside of my face with fucking nano scissors? Why can't you put nanobots in my fucking face and just cut out whatever is the problem and just then charge it to Joe Biden and KamalaHarris.com? And they have an account. They have a PayPal account. Elon, they have an X account. X was PayPal, and then it is a PayPal, and then now they got X again, and it's Twitter, but it's not Twitter. So, yeah, we're just cruising and bruising, and I just want to make sure that everybody out there has been having a happy holidays, I guess. There's nothing I can do about it. If you want to give me a phone call, here, I'll give you all a phone number to call. 412-407-7082. If you would like to call me and give me your problems and leave a message at the beep, 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 son of a beep, then go ahead and do that and leave me a message, and you can call me up and you can tell me, oh, my dog this, or my cat this, or, some other pet related problem. I mean, you could probably ask me things non-pet related too, but, and honestly, I don't have a lot of information about pets. I just don't know a lot about the topic. So, I don't know why you do that, but whatever. Now everybody has that phone number, and, I think it'll be good. I think it'll work out. I think putting that phone number out in the world, I think I'm just projecting light. Like I'm staring into lights right now to try and hide the blemishes, and to brighten up the old complexion, because God knows you could always go a shade whiter, But yeah, I'm pretty clogged up, and my sinuses are irritated. But other than that, I think I'm the image of perfect health. So that is how I feel about it. We're moving into a new state of consciousness, and we might be moving into a new state this year. Who knows? Anything could really happen. So let's talk about, you want beard growing advice, the chat is asking for. What I would say is don't have alopecia like I have, because then you get giant holes that you can see. But if I just do this a little bit, it's kind of fine. Maybe I should trim this back up a little bit too. But then we'll just cover it up. So I'm sorry, I'm grooming my beard on camera, which is probably drawing some audience and turning some audience away. But I think any bearded male, you're going to be hard pressed. If you got a problem with looking at a grown beard man, beard grooming his beard self, well, that just might be beard weird of you. You might have your own problems, and exposure therapy might actually help you. And just looking at something that makes you uncomfortable a few times, hey, maybe you won't be so uncomfortable if you just look at it a few times. The first woman I ever fell in love with was racist against midgets. And I'm not saying that to be offensive to anybody. I'm just saying that's how she felt about it in her heart. And, you know, like some people have a problem with, you know, African Americans, or some people have a problem with Catholics, or some people, you know, when they see a midget, they think, well, I have an instinct to eliminate that and I can't do it. So I'm just going to say I'm afraid of them. But what she actually felt deep down inside of her heart of hearts is that murdering a tiny person would probably give her the feeling of liberation that you get when, like, you've won the lottery or something, you know, just such a burden off of her back. And so instead of like making a friend with a small person, a dwarf, you know, she just, you know, wouldn't address the topic. And I think that's a problem. I think sometimes you just need to. It's a good question, chat. It's a good question, Nemo. I don't know why specifically, but I would assume it just has to do with the uncanny nature of the situation. Ironically, she was great friends with some trans people, one of which like groped her in front of me, which I wasn't too into, but since they were trans, I had to kind of put up with it since she put up with it, which is weird. But I didn't bust anybody's nose that day. I did probably make them feel uncomfortable later about it, because that's the kind of petty that I am. Like, well, I don't think my girlfriend wants me to beat you up. I don't necessarily feel threatened by you. You know, everybody's laughing and giggling. I know this is shitty, but you know. So she had all of her own preferences and shit like that, and it's just funny to reflect on that and who I am now and what is believed and said. But I don't need to talk too much about how weird woman, you know, weird. I mean, yeah. Anyway, so basically, I got my hair cut. I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling good, and you know, nobody gonna stop my stride, you know. And Bob Marley is something that speaks to me. Loved Bob Marley in The Nightmare Before Charles Dickens' Christmas Story. I think that's because there's a nightmare in that, and Mr. Magoo, who is Mr. McScrooge, Mr. Scrooge. And, you know, Christmas was in the air and everybody was smelling that. Now the New Year's is coming up and everybody's saying, what's your resolution? Bitch, I am. Bitch, I am. You know, I do not resolve. I am. You know, so that's the state of consciousness that I'm tuning into. In 2025, I am. Just like I am in 2024, you know? And my I amness is, I don't know. I recently published a dissertation on comparing Jesus's I am statements with Walter White's I am statements in Breaking Bad. And I think if you haven't read my theological scholarships, if I'm a scholarshipper, I'm pro scholarship. But I've only been on the good ship Lollipop. You know what I'm saying? It's good shit. I dance for you and you give me money. I mean, my parents' money. And then I develop a drinking habit at the age of 12. You know, a little bit off the top for a child actor, I think. I think a little bit, just a nip, you know, just give him like half a shot. Give a child actor, I think about half a shot and they're good. You know, they're not going to make any decisions that they regret for the rest of their life, but they're also, you know, going to be less of a pain in the ass while we film these next few scenes with a lot of dialogue. Wealth. So yeah, I'm excited. You know, it's going to be a brand new day and I'm looking forward to it. So what I wanted to say is that currently, and I hope that those of you who have been waiting to hear updates from me, which I am trying not to share what's going to happen as much, because I think that's a problem. Now, I think I'm going to have to make an exception for, maybe streams or something, like, give people a heads up or something. I have to live. I have to coordinate in some way, shape, or form. I do live, but, other than to avoid complete alienation, I need to keep on the DL what's in the crock pot. Maybe if there are investors involved someday, and I'll have to say, hey, this is the release date, and where everybody's on a track, and we're going to distribute in theaters and this and that. That's fine. But most of the shit I'm doing right now is just solo dolo. So there's no real reason to proselytize my own efforts too much, or what's going on too much. But this is just what's happening. I have recently been given what I believe is a request, but is very deceptively worded as almost like this is your state of affairs right now. Is the termination of my lease, because my landlord is such a cheap nightmare that they would have to pay out of pocket to fix this sewage line, and they're not doing it, and they've known what the problem was for months, but they knew they were like, well, it's fine, it's cleared now, oh, it's fine. And everybody, even the plumber was like, no, it's not fine, it's going to happen again. But then they just started like moving forward, and they were like, they had to clear out asbestos, and then that would have been fine if they just did that. But then they reinstalled the drywall after I was like, hey, what the fuck? You have to tell me what's going on. Like, when, because this took like 5 months, 6 months. Absolutely ridiculous. And, just talking to all these contractors and keeping up and realizing what's happening, like talking about how, well, insurance is going to cover this, but not this. And seeing that drywall go up, and hearing the Mexican music downstairs, and then playing my music way louder than theirs, and then they just give up. They're like, I guess we're listening to this. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry to all the construction workers out there. I know that I'm a very classist person, but my life is just being fucked with to the nth degree, and I have very little patience for it. So I have a lot of tools at my disposal, so I often use them to create an environment that is favorable to the outcomes I would prefer, because I have a great imagination. I feel like this water is going to clear up my sinuses, but it's not unless I drip it through there. But that's how you get an amoeba in your brain. And amoebas, apparently, from the mouth to the butthole, totally cool to have amoebas in there. Everybody's doing good with them. Brain amoeba, get that shit, put that shit in your brain. Put that shit in your brain hole, instant dead. Instant dead. You drink the water, that's fine. It's got brain amoebas in it, but it's actually fine. Yeah. This is just brain amoeba water. Here, have a glass of it. It's actually pretty good. It tastes pretty good. Do not put that in your nose, though. It does have brain amoebas in it, just so you know. FYI. How long ago did that happen? But you know what? I think it is the sacred right of every podcast to reference an old meme occasionally, as long as it's special and unique. And hold on, this is the part of the podcast. All right, moving on. But no, I do thank everybody. Everybody's been very good to me, and I just get really excited around the holidays because I spend them in isolation, because I am on a journey quest. I'm on a vision quest. School is starting soon again, because couple weeks, but that's good. Oh, but yeah, I'm getting early termination of lease, which means they're being like, we're gonna prorate your rent a little cheaper, and they're kind of implying that I have January to get out and find a new place. And honestly, the current situation here has sucked. My roommate is a piece of shit. He recorded me doing yoga. He's a creep. I'll probably at some point release videos of this lunatic, and maybe I'll cut it up with the podcast and create a fun little narrative. I think people would enjoy a narrative, a spin a yarn, and that's something that you have to look forward to on the next episode. So I'll be happy to eventually share this, man. Maybe not the next episode, but soon. Barring, I living through the experience. But I am curious to see how this is all going to go down. Honestly, I don't think this guy checks his email, and they sent it via email. I hope they send it in the mail. Actually, I think I should request that the mail is... Yeah, okay, I'm having ideas as we talk about this, so that's good. I haven't... it's like, please send this certified mail. Email is like, okay, but, I don't think this guy is, like, really email savvy, But anyways, it's definitely a trip, but... Being in this place was kind of hellacious. It's still somewhat hellacious, especially with the holidays right now. But it's changing, and the ground is shifting beneath my feet, and it's a good thing. It's all a good thing. And I'm doing the anxious thing. Instantly trying to find a new place to live and getting on Facebook, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk over here, and then I walked to the wrong... I got my places mixed up. I was talking to two people. So bad. I'm such a airhead when it comes to keeping like information straight. I gotta write like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and I just don't do that. I should do that, but I don't do it. But I made it, but like my shin and my ankle was kind of hurting, which is not new. I have what's called, it's a bone deformity. I have a bone deformity, and I believe my father also had said bone deformity because he used to wrap up his ankles. It's called osteotrigonum, I think. And apparently I'm missing a part in my ankle that makes it like, sometimes it's the loosey-goosey ankle, but it's not loosey-goosey like, oh, look what I can do. It's like, look what I can do. God, why? That's the kind of pain that it causes me, and that's called a rolled ankle. I thought it's been the wrong way. Luckily, it's never like, it will never stick like that. We'll knock on, this is wood that you hear me knocking on. It will never be like that, but it is a horrifying experience, and, maybe one day the tendons will just snap, and they'll be like, all right, we're done. You've done this enough. You're done walking forever. And I'll be like, oh no, but we have medical science and government medical care. I'd be stronger than I've ever been before. Give me the robot ankle. And then it'll fucking shoot missiles out of it. I want a Itano missile circus to come out of my shins like Robotech. Yeah, I called it Robotech. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Harmony Gold? Harmony, bold of you to assume I give a shit. Hey, high five, anime friends. I'll stop talking about anime right now. Please keep watching. Please keep watching. I know that I have a feeling that I'm going to gravitate hard into stand-up, and I don't want to... I have seen there are other comedians who have, like, nerdy podcasts to go along the side, so I am probably going to be able to make it work. It is interesting what kind of blending there will be, and then eventually probably will change... Like, I'm fine with the Captain Harlock themed, like, avatar. That's fine. And I don't think that anybody would question it that much because it's just like, oh, is it a pirate? Okay, whatever, But it'll have its own lore. But eventually the YouTube probably needs to be changed to my actual name. for better or worse. Is this fun to talk about on the podcast? Probably not. I'm sorry. I'm really fucking it up for you guys. I told myself I wasn't going to fuck it up. I do have a list of topics to address. First off, beavers. They're choking down wood. Beavers are choking down wood. I just wanted you guys to know. Second thing I wanted to talk about, Rasputin. I do, when I have a longer hair, look like Rasputin. I will fuck your Russian queen wife, and you will watch in the corner. And then I'll tell you the next morning it was a vision from your dreams, and you'll probably believe me because I have Rasputin vibes. I'm being asked what Christmas is like in Utah. Listen, Utah has, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Utah has freedom of religion for, you can worship Christ in any way you like. So I'll leave it at that. I think the French and the furries have a lot in common, primarily odors. And Hyperblock, tell me all about your new movie coming out. So hopefully that's good for you and me, and let's see what else we can work out here, guys, because I'm really trying not to blow this for you. There's a lot of pressure on me right now. But I know I need to not rush things with this new house. I know that I have a network now, and I know people in the community, and I haven't even gotten a chance to talk to them. Everybody's so busy up the butt with the holiday season, and it's about to be over, and then, you know, come January 2nd, 3rd, people are going to stop feeling, you know, so freaked out about it. It's going to be, you know, they're going to start taking down the Christmas decorations or leaving them up for an entire year. I don't know. Some people, that is the new norm. Leaving up your Christmas lights, it used to be a thing where it was like, oh, these people are lazy, they're not contributing to society, they need to be exterminated. But now I think it's actually a fetish. I think people, you know, they get that Grinch blown up and they're just like, I'm gonna fucking come, you know? And I don't blame them. I'm not necessarily saying I think they're wrong to do that. As long as they don't do it in the front yard, you have to do it in your living room. And at that point, if you have kids, please make sure they are to bed. Make sure your kids are to bed. If you're going to be in the living room that's looking out on the front yard and jerking off to your inflatable, your 12-foot tall inflatable Grinch display, you know, just make sure the kids are to bed. If the wife's going to watch or she's going to join in, she might have a Grinch thing. I find most of the women lean more towards Snoopy. Now, I guess I should have talked more about Christmas on the last episode, but it didn't release until after Christmas anyways. So it's almost like Christmas didn't happen in my world, and that's kind of the truth. Though I was sent a token of appreciation, and I did appreciate it, and it was helpful. So I was not completely ungrateful for Christmas, but Christmas gets different as you get older, okay? Especially if trad life didn't, you know, manifest for you, or if you weren't necessarily too interested in trad life. We're trying to figure out a way around it and then not really putting yourself in the right conscious state, you know? I'm oming. Imagine if it's just like a really double style. I'm sorry, I have hours today, class. Oh God. And they just, it's a yoga teacher with allergies, and they're just really not cutting it. Oh God. All right, class. Downward dog. I'm not doing it. You do it. Oh. I'm the teacher. You're the student. You're a stud. I just think that everybody here who, supports and everybody who thinks that they're king shit, I think you are. I think everybody that's hanging out right now is big ups, and I appreciate you. What I do want to say is that there are trolls in my life, and every time something I do pops, like I have a fan channel, and it put out a video recently and it got 30,000 views, and that's good. And maybe I'll link to that. It's a Space Battleship Yamato video on Liagiverse. And I think that sends a reverberation that comes back around to all the things that I've tried to put behind me. And I think that my past perception of the situation is that, oh, you'll never get through these, awful things that seem to be following you. And by things, I mean, they are human beings, but they don't act like it. They're sociopaths, and their main, they like to scare people into submission by shaming them. And I've already embarrassed them on my channel before, which is nice. And, it is associated with toe and so long things, and a lot of shit not in context, of course. And maybe if it becomes an issue, I'll talk about it. But honestly, it's such a nothing burger. And the trolling kind of picked up today. I've been sharing stand-up clips, and finally somebody was like, "Hey, you're ugly. Hey, your hair, you look like shit. You look like shit." Even though my hair is like shiny and soft and like smooth and wavy and beautiful, and I'm like wearing an overshirt, and and honestly, every show I'm dressed up, like I'm literally dressed. They asked me to dress up at these stand-up shows, so I abide, because they're kind enough to give me a stage to fucking tell some jokes. Most of them do okay, so I have a good time. They have a good time. Everybody has a good time. And maybe somebody buys a stick after the show, and we go out and we spend that on lollipops. 10-cent lollipops. Ooh, I love lollipops. That's a lollipops callback. Yeesh. I did eat 2 lollipops before the show. My subconscious is banging kicking right now. It's on hyperdrive fire. My hyperdrives are on fire, and I had gigabytes of data on them, and it's all being burnt away because the CIA is hot on the trail. So I'm doing okay. I think a new space is going to really revitalize where I'm at, and like mentally, I think my mental health will probably get better if I move to a new space. And I think, whatever I'm dealing with now is not going to be a huge problem. I know it's not going to be a huge problem. We just have to think positively, because we already know. And I think I know exactly who to call to help me move now, where before, like, the information was hidden, because the person offering me to move was an ex of the person who helped me move. And for whatever reason, I guess that didn't come up. And then the ex and their family helped me move. And then he was like, "Oh, we've helped like a dozen people move in the last few months," or something. I was like, "Oh, why didn't we always go?" Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess the obvious help that could have been reached out to wasn't reached out to, because somebody was maybe feeling a tad prideful. But I don't. Hey, relationships suck. I probably wouldn't want to talk to my ex to help my neighbor move either. So even if that's like what they got off on, especially, I don't want them getting off on it. I don't want them getting off on helping people if I can avoid it. I don't want them to feel pleasure, And yeah, I'm excited to be, moving into a new place and getting into a new space. And, they're going to refund the deposit early so that, we can send that over to new living arrangements, and should be fine. should be fine, and student loans come in, and it'll all work out. So, and yeah, selling things on eBay. We're always selling things on eBay, but some bigger stuff went through for the holidays. I think some people had some extra money. It's actually my first holiday season as an eBay seller. Hey, this is really exciting podcast stuff. Hey, let's talk eBay. I've sold things. All right. Not very exciting, not very interesting. Moving on. But yeah, Rasputin, I look a little less like Rasputin now, and that's good, I think, for people. I think people like that. I'm happy for them. I'd be happier if it happened to me. But I did eat Dairy Queen today, so I've probably got lots of petrochemicals in me right now. Hey, I didn't say this on the last podcast, but I think cold plunges are just for people who don't have the guts to kill themselves. And honestly, I think Joe Rogan makes a strong case for them, and I think I'm going to start plunging. So I think that'll be good. I think that'll revitalize me, and I'll feel like a Newman, or a Newmar if you've played not Final Fantasy Legend, Phantasy Star Online, maybe. Now I'm talking about video games though, and I don't know, can I even be the video game boy anymore? That's the thing. I started on Twitch with Oblivion, and Oblivion was fun. And then the guy who makes Moro, Skyblivion? I think it's Kyle Rebelsies or something on Twitch. He rated me as I beat Oblivion for the first time, which is if you hit me up in 2006, let's talk about 2006 while we're at it. All right. Let's talk about what 2006 was like and how we were all hanging hard, 2006. Now here's something I have to tell you guys. I have had 2 black roommates. One was a Jehovah's Witness. The other one was a Mormon. Neither of these experiences netted me any knowledge on black people. Strangely, though, I do now know more about Michael Jackson's life. So that was revelatory, and I have some sympathy for the man, even though there may be some questionable things going on, Macaulay Culkin's testimony notwithstanding. So, you have to make some decisions. But 2006, I lived with the Jehovah's Witness. And he had a big Sonic Adventure poster on the wall. So I was familiar with how cool that Sonic aesthetic looked. I always looked at those GameCube games and I was like, maybe. But there was always something else I wanted instead for GameCube. And the GameCube had a very strong library, in my opinion, even if it didn't have as many games as the PS2 and Xbox. All right, so moving on from game nerd shit. Let's talk more about game nerd shit. When I was in 2006 and watching my new roommate, dorm mate, play Oblivion on his computer, and his computer was actually pretty sick, and he would emulate Sonic on that, and he was speedrunning Sonic Advance games or something on his computer. It was blowing my mind. But he was playing Oblivion and it was looking buttery fresh. This was good PC Oblivion playthrough. It was kind of fun. I think I tried it out at one point. But I was just watching him play this till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I have class. Fuck that. I'm not going to class. I watched him play Oblivion last night. I'm tired. Okay, I have priorities. College is where you go to net knowledge, not knowledge. If you would have told me in 2006, while I was watching my Jehovah's Witness roommate play through Oblivion, if he said to me, hey, you're going to play this live as an adult later on in life, and when you beat it, 70 people are going to show up and congratulate you and give you money for doing that. If you would have told me that in 2006, I might not have believed you. That said, I'm pretty delusional about what I think is possible in my life. Just kidding. I'm illusional, dude. I'm illusional. Drop the D in your mouth, in your mama's mouth. Just kidding, guys. I would never to your mother. Me and your mother, we would go on a nice date. I would take her out to a decent restaurant. I don't know, maybe not Red Lobster good, but, you know, local joint maybe, pizza place. Where could we go? There's like a decent Indian place. You know, I tried to eat at a bar recently. Oh my God. I thought it was $2 drafts, and it was like a bajillion dollars. It's awful, awful. But listen, I'll take your mother out to a nice place. Before I drop that dude. Oh, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do to generate an audience for your podcast, is talk about their mothers. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I mean it. My sinuses are going to get worse if I start to cry. You guys know I can't cry, ever. I've never cried, ever. It's just weird that I can't cry. But yeah, we're doing good. I think we're doing good. We're manifesting. We're manifest destinying. Maybe that's what that was about. Like, maybe they knew about manifesting first, and they were just like, it's our destiny to go to California way. I would go through the woods with a Native American woman if I had the option, with my BFF, Clark. I've been dating. And I don't know, I'm not going to be so, you know, I'll do some swiping on the apps. I'll get on Tinder. Tinder's interesting. Its logo basically looks like a cross section of a penis, and it's on fire, almost like it has an STD that causes it to burn when you pee. And I just think that's really honest branding, and it's really on point. And I applaud Tinder. I applaud Tinder for just being transparent, what they're really about. And I'm on the Bumble, you know, which is for the queen bees. But, you know, I got on there, and she's texting me throughout the day, and it's fine. Okay. And she goes to Subway for dinner and sends me a picture of the Subway sandwich. Now, this is a red flag, actually. This is a huge red flag. This is a problem for me, actually. I don't know if I can get on board with that. You know, just sending me oh my God, it's almost like I think it's more revolting than a dick pic. I think sending me a picture of your Subway sandwich coated in yoga mat chemicals is less appetizing. It's more gut-wrenching than a picture of my penis. You know? And I'm not sending out pictures of my penis without being asked for it, or, you know, we're not going down that road. We're not just sending you dicks, you know, but I'm getting Subway pics all of a sudden, and I'm I was a little turned off. And basically, I played it off, though. You know, I'm chill. You know, women are allowed to be repulsive. Women are allowed to do repulsive things and disgust you. You know, if they do something absolutely abhorrent, you are expected in the year of our Lord 2024, moving into 2025, to tolerate whatever kind of nasty ass thing they did. That's what we're being told, I think, these days. But I'm like, well, hey, watch out for Jared. So if you don't know what I'm saying, then I don't know where you've been. I don't know. I don't understand why you don't understand who Jared is. 2015 arrest for very naughty, awful, bad, horrible things that should not ever be done. And but she was like, who's that? So she's in a Subway and she doesn't even know what a Jared is. She doesn't even know what Jared could be. Jared could show, you never know. You know, you're in a Subway, you might still want to take a look behind the dumpster and just make sure Jared's not in there. I do. I try to sniff him out. I have a pretty good nose for Jared at this point. I know what he smells like. Smells like Pokemon cards and Jax. You guys remember Jax? So if you didn't get the Jared reference, you definitely don't know what Jax are. So maybe we won't even entertain that. But And then my answer was, well, Google him. And I don't think she ever did. I think that she was content not to know who Jared was and just ignore it and say, this guy's weird. He makes weird jokes sometimes, but he is pretty funny. Because I did make her laugh a lot. But you know, you're never going to bat 100, especially when you're a fucking weirdo space cadet like me talking about weird shit all the time. But I did think to myself, you know, she's like, what is Jared? What is Jared? And I'm like, what is Jared? It's like what if it was an urban legend? What if Jared was just like an urban legend? You know? But Subway Jared sounds like a fucking urban legend to me. If we didn't have the context of a guy who was like, you know, on national television all the time, who would Subway Jared be? And I basically came out, you know, the legend of Subway Jared. In the bustling city of New York, deep in the tunnel system below its bustling streets, they say there lived a shambling, creeping blob of a man who only left his damned dark home for small children and large sandwiches, known as Subway Jared. For a while, he cut way back on the kids and started getting really into the sandwiches, and surprisingly, that led to a lot of positive change in Subway Jared's life. He cut down his weight considerably, out of blob status, and even got an endorsement deal that made him wealthier than he could have ever imagined. But old habits die hard, and one day, Subway Jared made some creepy comments about middle school girls to an investigative journalist. Some say one day he'll emerge from his 15-year sentence and return from the depths, restored to his former glory. To those who dare use subterranean public transportation, beware the Subway Jared!